Isaiah Yates, and I'm going to be persuading you today about the drug war in the U.S. and why I think that it's pointless and that we should stop it. Did you know that annually the U.S. spends about $51 billion a year on resources to fight drug trade and trafficking in and out of our country? You just kind of think about that. You put in perspective, I know everyone here's probably had a job and you think, 51 billion, what would I do with that money? It's just crazy how much resources that we go and put into that. In 1971, President Richard Nixon declared drug use and drug abuse public enemy #1 in our country, and kind of started the whole stigma against, anti-drug campaigns and, just kind of shock and awe type stuff. As a result, the last 44 years has seen this country use taxpayer dollars and military assets to prevent, in the name of preventing new addicts and rehabilitating the addicted. Although that sounds great, I believe that this country should end this pointless effort and excessive expense, because it's clear to me that this is a war that we're losing. In 2012, the number of nonviolent drug charges in this country was 1.55 million. So that's just like minor possession, just real small stuff, no violence at all. The U.S. has the world's highest incarceration rate, with 1 in every 103 adults in federal prison, with 2,228,400 incarcerated in 2012. For young people who get charged with drug possession or just minor misdemeanor charges, they lose financial aid for college. They can lose the right to vote, and it creates a criminal record for you, and that stays with you for the rest of your life. So, even as a young adult, people make mistakes, and sometimes that can carry with you for the rest of your life, even if, it wasn't a big violent charge, just a minor possession, I believe, if the war was ended, the war on drugs was ended today, the U.S. would save annually $41 billion in just enforcement and incarceration costs. That's just like sending cops out there to patrol, putting people in jail. You got to keep them in jail. You have to pay for that. All these people that are getting in prison for these minor charges, we have to pay for that. You got to keep them, sustained in prison. And that's just an incarceration cost, not to mention the profit possibilities if the drugs were decriminalized, regulated, and properly taxed. It's estimated that if taxed similar to alcohol and tobacco, the U.S. could stand to gain $46 billion in tax revenue a year on drug regulation and taxation. We've seen examples of this in our own country. 23 states in the Union have marijuana decriminalized and used for medical purposes, and 2 of which, Washington and Colorado, have the drug legalized for recreational use, and they get full profit benefits of that. It's estimated that Colorado, by 2020, could stand to make up to $35 billion annually on the marijuana industry, just on the whole aspect of it, because obviously there's production now, mass production. It creates business and jobs, and it's just good in general for the economy. And I know there's a big stigma that if you legalize drugs, everyone's going to go around being crazy and in some drug haze, and it's going to be anarchy. But actually, after almost a year of legalization in Colorado, the state is seeing property crime rates fall 14.6%, and homicide rates fall 66.7%. Although the homicides were in single digits both years. But so that's just kind of it shows you that people aren't just going to go crazy. The people that are doing drugs are doing drugs regardless of whether it's legal or not. So we might as well just accept that and do what we can to get what we can off of the industry. So our nation spends billions a year incarcerating its own people in prisons for non-violent crimes. And I believe that with proper regulation, we can end all this ridiculousness and stand to have a pretty significant payday off of drugs in America, drug regulation. And I think that it's time to change our old way of thinking in the nation and realize that we're fighting a losing battle and that we need to approach this problem from a different